All right, so it's Lay here, and I'm here today with Vimbai.
Hello.
So tell us a little bit about your content and how you fell in love with wrestling.
Oof. So I guess I'll do some backstory first. So my love for wrestling kind of came in waves. I remember watching it more so when I was like younger, like 5 or 6 in that range. But my dad was always like, no, 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 no violence, no chairs, no tables. And that was like when like ruthless aggression era was like popping off. So like everybody was getting the smoke. So I was definitely not allowed to watch it. But I would still like me and my brother, I would like, sneak when my dad wasn't home and like go watch or whatever. But then like as time went on, I kind of just fell out of it for a little bit. And then it wasn't until I moved to a different neighborhood, predominantly surrounded by guys, and they were like, "You have watched WWE," and I'm just like, "I did." So that picked up around 2009, and when everybody else kind of grew away from it, I kind of grew more and more into it. So it just inevitably never left. My current content, however, I'm not actively creating as much as I should. I would say I'm more in the written aspect of journalism. So right now I'm interning for a website called Vendetta Sports Media, where it's just, and think of it like Bleacher Report, but
Hmm.
like a little up and coming Bleacher Report. So I write stories under the WWE tab, and the thing I love about that is I can write. I have free range basically to write any and everything that I want. So the last thing I think I read about at this point is about, I think it was just WrestleMania as a whole, but I know I want to focus my next article actually focusing on Bianca, Jade, and Naomi, and how that's an up and coming faction. So what I want to do long term though is broadcasting, and I would like to be in front of the camera, like like a Kayla and or Renee or anybody along the lines of
Yeah.
that. But this is baby steps. But this new era is going to get me there. I
Yes.
feel it.
Yes. Me and Dominique were speaking about this new era and how we've seen the growth of African American wrestlers,
Mhm,
especially women African American wrestlers. How we
mhm.
went from just sporadically being there, a Jackie sprinkled here, Alicia Fox there. We have the big three
Yeah,
right now.
finally.
So,
Like,
right. So it is rewarding to be in this space and
mhm.
see that growth. So, what inspired you to get this internship to write for WWE? Well, under the WWE tab, how did that come about? Tell us that story.
So for my school, I'm still currently enrolled in school. I'm going to school for journalism, and we kind of have to do internships. So the semester before, I was interning under the local newspaper in Long Beach. So kind of the same realm of just writing stories about in and outside of Long Beach and things that kind of affect the local community in that area. So I knew going forward, I wanted to start doing stuff that I don't know, I guess benefited me more long term for what I actually wanted to do. So while
Hmm.
the internship I did have before did help me in terms of getting familiar with newspaper writing and more aspects along those lines, I knew going forward I wanted to start shifting gears towards wrestling. So I'm like, okay, where we got? So we have a an internship tab for our school where it shows us like what internships are available. I scroll, and I that's where I see Vendetta Sports Media. And the guy who's actually in charge, he used to be a wrestler himself. And it wasn't like anything like super big, he wasn't like The Rock or anything like that. But he's familiar with wrestling enough to where he wants to incorporate it with his website. So I was like, okay, this is my sign. Like this has to be for me. And even when I was already looking through my job searches, I wasn't seeing much like in terms of wrestling and what I can do with that. This was like, okay, this is going to be my stepping stone. So while it's not exactly like broadcasting of where I'm like going to inevitably be, I think this is just like, it's a good start. Especially
Yeah.
it shows that like I am familiar with like wrestling and I can talk about it, I can write about it, I can formulate questions and things along the lines of that. So it's definitely a good opportunity.
Yeah, it is. And that's cool because we have that in common. I have my
Mm,
mass comm degree with a minor in journalism. I
mm.
actually did my internship in journalism at a actual news station because I
Oh, wow.
wanted to be in broadcast journalism. So we are on the same
Yes.
wavelength there. Um, Pursuing this avenue of broadcast journalism and tying it with wrestling, being that we don't have a lot of African American
Mhm,
women in that space. I know you mentioned Kayla
mhm.
earlier. Um, what do you feel Black women bring to the table when it comes to wrestling media and wrestling content?
That's a good question. One, I think first and foremost is that representation. Like, even as you were mentioning earlier, with just the handful of Black women wrestlers that we had, there was no broadcasters that were even Black, period. Like, again, the handful of people. So I think having that representation is important going forward, just to show that we can do it too. And I think it is very nice to see that a lot more, not just Black women, but also even women of color, want to step into that field and,
Mhm.
be more so a part of something bigger, especially long term. Like right now, all the broadcasters, they're with a few, Byron and everybody, but they're all women. So that's a good step in the right direction. Now I think we need to, add a little more color, a little more flavor. And I think with having Black women be that representation, it's good for especially little girls too that can see people who look like us doing what they want to do like in the future. So,
So, one of the things in my internship, because the lady that I interned under, one of the people that I interned under, she was a Black woman,
mm,
and she constantly, reminded me, okay, we're in this space. A lot of producers and showrunners, when picking broadcast journalists, they have a type.
yeah.
I'm going to ask you, how do you combat against that type that that is already there? You know, for example, that one of the examples that she gave me, I'll use that. She was trying to get a job at a news station out of state, and that certain producer didn't hire her. She had great work, a great resume tape, but he wanted blondes. So
Yeah.
going into this world that we know already have their picks and preconceived notions about us in general, how do you plan on combating that when entering that wrestling world?
So, okay, I'll give a little backstory on myself a little. So, I didn't always know that I wanted to do journalism. I knew that I liked writing and I knew that I liked wrestling. And it wasn't until I was already in school for 3, 4 years at this point where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. And for the longest time, the path that I had for myself with school was kind of made for me. Like I had, immigrant African parents. If I'm going to school, it's going to be for a doctor. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be an engineer. Like that's all that was here, like down my throat. So it wasn't until I decided to take it into my own hands. Like I had to go into journalism, and my parents didn't even know. So once I inevitably told them, slash, they found out, one thing that I heard repeatedly was it's a competitive field. They're
Yeah.
not gonna, hire people who look like you. And what I say to that, and what I've always told them, and what I tell people who say things like that to me is, as a Black woman, it is already paved against us no matter where we go, whether we go into, broadcasting or journalism or more prestigious careers in a general sense like doctors or lawyers. No matter what we do, the deck is always going to be stacked against us. So when I see that, I'm like, I might as well go for what I want.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to let what people are already shooting at me get in my way. Like, it's going to be an uphill hill battle. We're going to have to work twice as hard to get half the credit. Like, that's something I've heard in my entire life.
Me
So
too.
why stop now? Like, why am I all of a sudden, well, now it's hard. Now when I'm just this much closer to where I want to be, why give up? Why stop? So I'm just gonna keep going. I'm not gonna conform to anybody. I'm not, a traditionally small individual, so I'm not gonna shrink down to size. I'm not gonna dye my hair. If I'm gonna get to where I want to be, I'm gonna do it being me. And I think people are gonna recognize that, especially as Black women. We're gonna get to where we want to be being ourselves. Like Big Three, look at those girls. They
Yeah.
are themselves. They did it. We can do it too. So
Yeah.
what I say to that.
That is wonderful, especially in this space because
hmm
it is a male oriented space first
Yeah.
and foremost, and then a Caucasian male dominated space for second. So when you create your content, do you ever experience any pushback from certain wrestling fans? Have you had anyone try and doubt your content or even just trolling? I know
Mm,
one of the girls I interviewed explained that when she posts certain wrestling content, a lot of men try to mansplain
mm.
whatever her content is about. So have you experienced any of that?
In terms of what I've personally produced, no. I think the space that I've been provided has been very encouraging, I guess, for me. Like they welcome me, I guess, into that space. But I know that my experience is not a universal experience. Like I even see it on Dominique's, videos. I see it on your videos, like how people come in the comments and they kind of think that they know better, that they know everything. And it's like just because we're women or whatever, that we don't know what we're talking about. So I know that, that's the other side of the coin. Um and my what I've created, I haven't created too many opinion pieces. And I think if I do start stepping more into that space is where I'm going to get more of that pushback.
Yeah.
It's because it's very hard to refute with what I write when it's strictly this is what happened. Like you can't fight that. But when I start like saying, maybe I think this way, maybe I think that way, I know it's going to come back 10 times harder. But I'm strong enough to handle it. Like I've heard it growing up before I started, making public content. Like so, I've been preparing.
Yeah, I will say that even with my content, I haven't had it as bad as some of the stuff that I've seen on like Dominique's post or some
Yeah,
other women of color wrestling
yeah,
posts. I've seen some crazy things. I am fortunate enough, like you, to have overall a following that is very welcoming and very encouraging. It's a lot
yeah.
of black males. Is your following like that, or what's your
No, I don't
audience
have
like?
a target demographic thus far. I think right now it's kind of just any and everyone because I'm most of my audience. I'm doing print, so I haven't done much like on like actual Instagram,
On
TikTok, and
camera?
all
Yeah.
of that stuff yet. So I don't really have a pinpointed source yet. No.
And see, that's crazy. When I started content, I actually started it as a challenge because I usually do behind the scenes.
Mhm.
I work in a marketing department, so I usually do video editing, content creation for that place, and I've always been behind the camera. And with this challenge, it was you pick a niche, and for 30 days, you post about that niche.
Yeah.
And it was a group of women together. We were holding each other accountable, and at first, when I started, I was like, I love wrestling and I'm a girl's girl. I am I'm a wig wearing wrestling baddie.
Yeah,
So
very
I
good.
was like I wanted to make content for women to get them involved in wrestling and know that it's not just violence. It's also a storyline that goes with
Yes.
it. Sometimes that can rival a reality show. But once I started, I saw a lot of Black men coming to my content, and they were loving it. And I didn't think they would, because
Yeah. Good for the girls.
yeah. But they have been some of my biggest supporters.
Yes. Which is
So
good to
I
see.
think you will see that once you start, because a lot of them are very encouraging. Dominique said the same thing too. A lot of Black men are in her audience, and they are some of the most encouraging fans. Also, when you're writing, make sure you keep your portfolio.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
'Cause Imma
Because
need
if I
that.
would have had that, oh goodness. Yes. So
Noted, thank you.
how much longer do you have in school?
I graduate next month, but I'm
Oh,
finally. Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. But I don't know how long my internship is for, because I didn't start right at the beginning of the semester. So he was saying maybe till the summer. So hopefully I get hired on and then I can actually start making money from it.
so with this, and like we were stating earlier, it's not a lot of women, a lot of Black women, so to
Mhm.
speak, in this wrestling field. And so it kind of seems like we're doing the groundwork and like clearing the pathway to
Mhm.
get to that. So, what are some of your goals with this wrestling broadcasting, especially since it's unknown territory? Because
Yeah.
they're not a lot. And not only what are your goals, what are your plans to reach those goals with this broadcasting and wrestling?
Mhm. So I guess general all-time goal, obviously, get in front of the camera, WWE,
Yeah.
that's the golden ticket right there. To get there, so what I've been doing so far is, one, I'm still doing my internship. We have I'm located sorta ish, kinda near San Diego, and there's the wrestling scene over there is like the indie wrestling scene is like popping off. So what I've been trying to do is I've been like working behind the scenes with them. I worked with one of their shows before, and I got some footage. I did some print, I did recording, I did pictures. So I'm starting to try and get my exposure down there first, and then hopefully from there allow that to be a stepping stone to get more recognition in that area. I mean, they're not hiring at the moment, but they already got their eye on me. So I'm just gonna continue to maintain a good impression, continue to be support them from an outside perspective, from a fan base, I guess, perspective, to show that I can commit to this, and then from there just get to the big screen.
Okay. So you've been working with these indie wrestling, working on the indie wrestling scene. Have you ever thought about getting in the ring?
I'm too injury prone. I I learned from a young age that I was never going to be the one throwing down, jumping from the top rope. No, 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 no. I'm okay with. I'll try to take a bump. I will try my darndest. Like my friend, he actually wants to be a wrestler himself. So he like shows me like all the moves and everything like that. And he'll do like figure fours on me and try and RKO me and stuff. And I'm like, that's the most I will do. Like my ankles crack standing up. So I'm not I'm not gonna get in the ring.
Same. At most I might could be a manager.
Yes.
At the most,
I
but
can I
baby,
can be on the
a
mic. I can
bump,
talk. I
a
can talk my
bump.
mess. Like
Mm-mm. But my toxic trait is I think I could do a moonsault, and I'm not athletic at all.
well
But that's my toxic trait.
anybody
Like
can
when I
do it if you
see,
really put your mind to it.
but am I going to get up
Mm.
afterwards?
Now, see,
That
that's a
that's
different question.
that's the
You
part.
completed the moonsault, but successfully getting up, now that's a different story.
So with all these changes in the new Triple H era
Ooh.
that we're in, Seeing the big three, not even that, just seeing men, black men, like you got
Right.
Trick and Mello and
I
how they
know.
headline NXT, WrestleMania weekend. We're getting a lot of black wrestlers that are not fitting stereotypes
Hmm.
anymore. Um we're actually getting over with our own aesthetics. Is That's
Right.
something that I love. Like you mentioned the big three, they've been themselves and they've
Yep.
gotten over in that way. And for so long, wrestling has been, you're either a stereotype or we're going to take the black aesthetic and put it on a white wrestler and let
Yeah.
him get over.
Yeah.
So, how does it feel seeing all of these changes, seeing the elevation of the black wrestler in this era?
You know, I'll keep it short. I'll keep that one short. All I gotta say basically is it's about damn time. Like, like it's like I was mentioned earlier. There was Jackie,
Yeah.
Alicia.
Uh, awesome Kong for a while.
There,
Um, yeah,
I'm like, yes. Anybody else? Like, and that's all we had for like a hot minute, and then slowly but surely now it's. I want it to get to a point to where this is the norm. Like,
yeah,
I love conversations about this. Like you mentioned, we are basically doing the groundwork, and women like those big three and others, even Sasha,
mm-hmm,
are like paving the way for people like us to come in to where we can be there and have it not be such a big deal.
yeah,
So I see what's happening now with the black girl aesthetic and everything being applied appropriately and
yes,
them getting their flowers as they should. And they don't have to conform, they don't need to contort, they don't have to do any of that. Seeing that is just like, oh yeah, this is possible for any of us. We don't
yeah,
have to change anything. And that's
at
what I love.
all. And
That's
I would have to say, adding on to that, just thinking about when I was younger and I had to maneuver to find representation in the divas that I was
Mhm.
seeing. I attached myself to Lita because I was like, okay, well, I'm tomboyish. She's
Yeah,
tomboyish, so I can see here. And then when I saw Trish, I was like, oh my gosh, when I get older, I want to be beautiful like that and just
yeah.
powerful. But now we don't have to create. We can look like you said, Sasha Banks, Naomi with the glow,
Mhm.
Bianca with the EST, Jade with her powerful prowess. You
Yes.
can look at any of those women or all of them and their aesthetic and how different they are and
Yeah.
find your representation, which is beautiful.
Yes.
Like
That's
you don't
make it
have to
dope.
pick. They're
Yes.
all wonderful. And like you said, the aesthetic is done beautifully, not in a stereotypical way.
Yes. That's what we needed. Like, I don't know. Like seeing Bianca get her flowers is just like even when what what mania was it? Was it 37?
When
36? I
her
don't
and
when
Sasha,
Sasha and Bianca,
yeah,
like watching them like head main event night one was like I cried. Like that was just so surreal to see. And that was like their aesthetic. They were two
yeah,
boss ass women. And they showed with like just being themselves and busting their ass that like they got to the big stage. And I was just remember like balling and like my friend was watching with my friend, he just didn't get it. And I'm like, nah, you had your representation. This is all we had. It took how many years to get to this point. So like seeing it now become more normalized is like, oh, okay, we're heading in the right direction. And that's, like I said, it's about damn time.
yeah. How long do you think, because you mentioned that you want diversity in the to be so normalized that when they do hire a black broadcast journalist or a black female commentator or even I can't think of her name. I follow her. The black ref that
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
yes, beautiful. but you want it to be so common that we don't even know. Like, I shouldn't have to say, "Oh, the black woman ref that's at
Mhm.
WWE." And you're like, "Oh, I know her." To how long do you think it will be to that point, diversity wise, where we don't even have to pick one out of the bunch that's sprinkled in, that we're just all the
Mhm.
way integrated?
I think we still have some ways to go. Unfortunately, kind of like I think I touched on it a little bit earlier, like with women broadcasters, like that's kind of all what's taking over in WWE, but they kind of tackle black women last. And it's like, okay, here's our diversity. We'll start with women. Okay, then we'll start with more POC women. Then we'll get to like black women. And unfortunately, it's not just, only just seen there. It's kind of seen time and time again.
Yeah.
So for it to kind of be a even melting pot, definitely a few years down the line. But you even see it in NXT, like you see like a lot of women of color getting their dues over there too.
Yeah.
So it's especially under this new Triple H era, I think it's going to be sooner than we think,
Yeah.
and to where we're not even really going to question it anymore. It's going to be
Yeah.
good.
Because I was thinking about that today. I watched the Wendy Williams, like her biography movie,
Hmm.
and there was a scene where she knew she wanted to do radio in New York. And she went to this particular station and she sat there for 2 weeks just waiting to see the creative director of that station. And part of me was like, you know what? I just might as well just drive to Connecticut and camp out with my laptop and wait to see Hunter.
Have your own story.
Yeah. And say, look, this is what we got. Let's let's make it happen.
I mean, I don't see why not at this point. Shoot your shot somewhere. If you can do it and just wait out there, somebody, like, even if they kick you out, your name's out there. So it's a good step in the right direction.
It's just like we're discussing, it's just laying that groundwork, because a lot of people don't think that black women are a is a audience to wrestling.
Yeah.
They don't feel like we're in that audience group, and they don't feel like they have to market to us.
Hmm.
So one of the great things about seeing that growth of black women creators, they now cannot deny that we're a market,
Yeah.
because they see the product. They see it in your content, my content, Dominique's content, um, those wrestling girls podcasts.
Yeah.
And it felt so good seeing them, the girls from the Wrestling Girls podcast,
Hmm.
be at it wasn't at War Games,
Yeah.
asking questions in the
Good.
actual media booth. That
Hmm.
was phenomenal. Now
Yeah.
that made me cry. I teared up. I was like, "Oh yes."
That's what we need. It's just having this just be the norm. Like, even for a long time, like, not even just like black women, just girls in general, finding women who watched wrestling was just so like not normal. And like seeing it now, like when you like watch Raw or whatever you're watching and you see like little girls out in the crowd and like, you know, anybody, it's like this is growing. And now that you can like spot it out, it's becoming more normalized. I'm like, well, good. Cause like we didn't, I don't know about you, but like myself, like I didn't have it easy growing up being the little kid, little black girl watching wrestling. You'll get over it, or it's for boys, the whole this, that, and the third. And now I'm sitting here at 24 and I'm still watching wrestling. It's like, hate to break it to you, mom. I'm not growing
I'm
out of
not.
it anytime soon.
Yeah, I used to at recess. I would be the only girl out playing with the boys,
Yeah.
and we would replay like Raw that Monday,
Yeah,
and
from
as
the day
we kind of
before.
yeah, and like I'm short. I'm like 4'9", 4'10", and they would have me out there as China. Girl, I felt powerful.
Yeah,
But
let them know who's who.
yeah,
Who runs
quick.
that playground.
Quick, I actually almost got in trouble. I chipped one of the little boy's teeth on the seesaw. I like banged his head like how you bang it Like we were pretending that
Oh.
that was the announcer table, and I banged his head, and the seesaw came back up and hit him in his eye. I said, "Oh God, my mama
Oh.
and daddy are gonna kill me," but he didn't tell.
Oh, see, he's
He didn't
fine.
tell.
And he'll remember that
Solid.
for the rest of his life. So
Yeah, we
good.
both, and whenever we see each other, we talk about it. So just having that dynamic now, I can only imagine how wonderful
Yeah.
little black girls feel
Oh,
seeing Bianca and
yeah.
Jade and Naomi and Sasha. And
Having their representation, which is good.
yes, it is. So let's see. I think we've gone over most of everything, even without me looking at the
All right.
questions.
Well,
That's why I said,
be natural conversation.
yeah, yeah, and that helps.
Yeah.
So I want you to finish up by telling everyone how they can follow you, how they can look at your articles, just
Okay.
promote yourself.
Okay. So Vimbai Moyo on TikTok. That's VIMBAAIIMOYO on TikTok. VendettaSportsMedia.com under the WWE tab. That's where I post all my stories. You can also find really good stories on, football, baseball, any and everything sports. Go to that website. Also, my Instagram is the same as my TikTok. And then that's all.
Okay. Well, it was wonderful having you on.
Thank you
I'm gonna
so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it. I appreciate
Not a
everything that
problem.
you're doing. I can't wait to see your final product.
Me too, because
You got this. Nah, you're doing great already. The way that you're already asking your questions and how you kind of conversate with women to feel comfortable and to have that space to talk about this is really good. So you're doing really amazing.
yeah, well, when I go through the wrestling sites that I see content, I don't see anyone talking about the rise
Yeah.
of not only black women creators in a media space, but just black women fans in general.
Yep.
And one thing that me and Dominique was speaking on about how a lot of men think that you have to be of a certain aesthetic to
Yeah.
be into wrestling. So once they see that you're not in that aesthetic of like
Yeah.
I don't want to say that they think you're going to be homely looking or something, but but they be expecting the worst.
Yeah.
They
This
they
is nice.
expect the worst.
Yeah. Like, excuse
And
me, like
yeah, they're like, "Oh,
like you watch wrestling. Like, what's
you
that
watch
supposed to mean?
wrestling?" Right.
What you trying to
Okay, so
say?
that is about 3 girls that said the same thing. "You don't look like you watch wrestling." I want to know, and maybe I need to do something with men next and ask them, "What does a woman that watch wrestling look like?"
Yeah, that's a good question. Because
Because
I
I
to this
wanna know.
day, I don't know. Like like, I
I
have
know
no
we
idea.
don't look like them,
No,
clearly.
apparently not.
We don't. Oh, well, one last question, because this was something that, had me so and you don't have to answer because it is kinda but it's about dating. So, when you tell someone that you're into wrestling, how does that
Ooh,
go?
okay. So, I feel like, especially in modern dating, it's all online profiles and all that stuff. So I make it very known that there is some wrestling aspect about me, whether it's a picture with me and someone I met or it's my tattoo, like you will know. And lucky enough, I actually found like some wrestling fans through that process, so which is pretty cool. But the ones who don't always get it, it's always like I try to explain it to them like, you have football, I'll have wrestling. Don't I don't get on you when your team loses and you throw your thing at the wall. So don't get mad at me when my person loses and I'm equally upset. And then it's the whole, well, it's fake and it's
Yeah.
not real and the blah de blah, everything I've heard for X amount of years now. And I'm just like, okay, just leave me alone. I don't want to have to explain this to them. It's always like it's a toss up of what kind of person that you're really going to deal with. You're going to either get the, oh, I used to watch it when I was little and, Stone Cold and The Rock and da da da, but I don't watch it anymore. And I'm just like, okay, I appreciate more like more so guys like that because at least they understand it. Like at least they
Mhm.
were like familiar with wrestling. The one who didn't really watch it like at all, like who haven't seen any of it, those are the ones that are just like take some convincing. And there's always pushback. Always pushback. But then they're around me long enough when, there's wrestling Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, pay-per-views, other things. So wrestling's on all the time. And then they're like, I kind of like it. Oh, I like Seth Rollins. Cody Rhodes is pretty cool. Da, da, da. I'm just like, thank you.
And see, I had to ask because I haven't gotten to that phase yet. Now
Oh,
that, like
God.
you said, it's all online, and so, or even when I meet somebody and I'm like, oh, well, I have a wrestling podcast and I do this with wrestling because I also do a entertainment podcast as
Okay.
well, and I'm back and forth in Atlanta, like
Mhm.
interviewing and stuff there, and so they get that aspect, but then they're like wrestling. Like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, that's oh, I got
Yeah.
ghosted one time. The straight, I
Oh,
guess he said
God.
that's the end of this conversation.
Someone did not have a good
Yeah.
experience with wrestling. Someone got like a
Yeah.
stunner and has it traumatized for life. Like it's not that serious.
And before you go, I heard you mention that you met some wrestlers. Who have you met?
Okay, I met Bret Hart.
Ooh.
That one was it because we met him during COVID, so we all had the mask and everything. But he was just really nice. Um,
And you know his wife, he liked chocolate.
I was like, okay, but I was like, no, 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 I'm not here for all that. I was like, hey, Fred, how you doing? But I was like, no,
Oh.
no, no. My friend was more freaking out than I was because he's the one who wanted to be a wrestler or still wants to be a wrestler. So he was like asking like, I really want to be a wrestler. What should I do? And he was doing most of the talking, and I was just like, okay, like I was like, that's cool. Who else did we run into? I got a picture with Enzo. He
Okay.
was he was me and my friends still joke that he tried to hustle me, but we like it was a joke. He was like walking around like the lobby and he was like selling his like certified like G shirt. And he was like, I was like, oh, I want a picture with him. And then we heard him like yelling to like people like ahead of us in line, like, oh, if you want a picture with me, you have to buy a t-shirt. And I was like, crap. So I was like, okay, I guess I gotta buy a t-shirt. So we gave him the money. He came over to us. I gave him the money and I was like, oh my God, like I'm a huge fan, blah, blah, blah. So we took the picture, gave him the money, and he started walking away. I looked at my friend and I was like, do you have my shirt? And he's like, no. And I was like,
Oh.
excuse me, sir. And like he kept walking. And then my friend like ran after him and he was like, yeah, what's up? We're like, the shirt?
The shirt.
He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, yeah, yeah. But like, we think he was messing with like, I don't think he did it on purpose, but like, which is
No.
funny. Who else did we see? We saw Elias. I met Elias at WrestleMania.
Oh.
He was really nice. He was like, real quick picture. I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. He was nice. We met Bronson. He was cool. Who else was there? Oh, Charlotte was so close, but I was too scared. I was like, yeah, I couldn't go up there. I was like, no, no, no. She seemed busy. I was like, no, 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 no. Braun is huge.
I
Braun,
can I can believe it because
Braun
he's
is
huge on camera.
like, yeah. I'm like, I feel like camera doesn't do it enough justice. Like, he's a big dude. Like, who else? I think that's it that I can remember at the moment.
But that's pretty cool. I have not met anyone yet.
Oh, so you got to go to like those like
Oh,
fan
fingers
experience
crossed.
events where
But
they're
see,
just like,
where I stay, we don't really have because I stay in South Carolina. So we
oh,
don't really, yeah,
you don't go to
yeah.
like the big events and stuff. What's the closest like
So
state?
North Carolina and Georgia is pretty
Oh,
good.
Georgia.
So I would
That's
check
Georgia.
those. I should check
Yeah.
those out and go.
When pay-per-views come around, yeah. If anything, go to those fan experiences because they're just like there, like just chilling.
Okay,
Like,
I'm gonna have to go to that.
have you been to like a Raw or anything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been to I've been to a couple of house shows.
Mm.
Um, what is it called? Main Event.
Oh, like those, like the smaller ones.
Yeah, and I've been to SmackDown. I had somebody buy me a ticket for a date, and he didn't show. Like something happened, and he wasn't able to come. But it was okay because
We give you the ticket.
I got to see Roman.
Oh,
I
well,
got to see Randy. I
it's
was
a blessing in disguise.
yeah, because he probably would have got tired of me because I would have been like,
Yeah, that they especially live and they're not familiar, they don't get it.
so.
Then you
But
just hang
thank
out around the
you.
trucks. That's how you see everybody. That's why I always see, like, I always want to go home. I don't care, but like the fans are like wait by like the cars and stuff, and sometimes they'll like come out and like say hi to the fans and everything. I want to go home. I'm trying to leave. So
And see, that's my thing. I try as soon as I hear 3 on the last match, gotta go.
Oh, see,
Because
no,
I know
but
the
like that's
traffic.
sometimes they come out afterwards. I wait until, because like at the very, very, very end, like the ring announcer will like be like, "That was the show. Drive safe." That's when I know it's over, because you never know who can come out. Is somebody making a return? Is somebody like gonna do something? You never know with wrestling. Like the
Yeah.
last Raw I went to, I don't remember what happened. Oh, it was when Jay was facing Gunther for the title, and then Jimmy came out and
Yeah.
everything. Show was over, like that was it. And then at the end of the show, Cody came out and was like, somebody wants to say hi. And then CM Punk came out. And this was after television. So if I went home and I missed
You would
CM
have
Punk,
missed
I would have
it.
been pissed. I would have been mad. Like everybody would have gone to smoke. So I was just like, okay. So now I know. Like going forward, it's like Marvel movies. You need to
Yeah.
wait until the lights come on.
Yeah. I will never understand that. I
Oh,
would never
really?
understand people that leave Marvel movies early.
Yeah, no, that's just dumb.
Like, come on
Dumb.
now. We've been at this for years
Right?
now. You know.
It's been at least a decade, y'all. Like, come on. We know, don't get up. Like,
But
every time. Somebody
again, thank you so much.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
I'm so happy that you were here. I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to see more content. I'm definitely gonna look you up.
Okay,
So,
content coming more so in the summer, because when school's over, then I can
yeah,
focus all my attention on that. So
I am. Trust
graduate
me,
first.
I understand. So
Thank you so much. I appreciate
that
it.
was all for Beyond the Canvas Ring Queens.